Hello everyone, Miss Carrie here. This is the time of year where I like to share simple gift-giving projects that you can make using your paper craft supplies. I hope this inspires you to try something new. For this project, I'm using the Retro Stripes add-on collection, the Ho 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 layering stencils, and the Sparkles stencil. All of these have some great images that are perfect for holiday projects. As I create today's gift card holder, I'll bring in a few additional supplies. As always, I encourage you to use what you have, but if you would like a list of the items I'm using, I've provided you with that in the description below, along with a link to the This Calls for Confetti shop. Let's get started with the project. We're going to begin with the main pieces for the pocket card. To start, you're going to cut a card base at 11 inches by 4 3/4 inches. This is going to fold into that gift card holder pocket. The next piece is the insert for the gift card and the decorative pieces for the outside of the pocket. I'm going to select 2 pieces of pattern paper from the Speckled collection. This is going to have a more traditional color palette, so I'm going to grab a soft tan color and a bright green. The insert is going to be cut down to 4 inches by 5 1/4. I'm going to set this aside. To create the outside embellishments and the gift card holder strip, I'm going to cut a 6 by 6 sheet at 4 inches wide. I'm going to rotate this piece and trim the first piece at 4 inches so that we have a 4 by 4 square. This is going to leave you with a 2-inch strip. We're going to cut that in half so that we have 2 1-inch strips. One will be used to hold the gift card, and the other will be used to decorate the outside of our pocket. I'm going to set these aside and create the pocket portion for the project. With the shorter edge at the top, we're going to score the pocket piece at 1/4 inch on both sides. I'm using my paper trimmer and a bone folder for this. If you have a scoreboard, that might work a little bit easier. I'm going to rotate this and score the piece at 9 3/4 inches. And I'm going to score at 5 1/2 inches along this long edge. The next step is to trim off the excess to create some tabs. We're going to remove everything except the center portion between the 2 score lines. I'm going to cut along that score line from the base to the center score line. Then I'm going to move my cutting blade to the top and cut down to that top score line. I'm going to flip this over and repeat the cuts on the opposite side. If you struggle making these cuts with a paper trimmer, you can use scissors or a craft knife. I'm going to create angled cuts at the top and bottom of each tab. This pocket can be mailed in an A2 size envelope, and these cuts will lessen the bulk. Before adhering these together, I'm going to fold along all the score lines. The tabs are going to fold towards the inside of the pocket. Then we'll fold this in half at the score line. The last score line will create a decorative flap on the front, so we're going to fold this towards the outside of the pocket. To adhere the pocket, I'm using some red tape. You can also use liquid adhesive or a double-sided tape. I suggest that you use a strong adhesive that won't cause the pocket to come apart when your gift card is placed inside. A tape runner might not be strong enough for this. Now we just need to fold the tabs towards the inside of the pocket and fold this in half to adhere all the pieces together. I'm going to fold that flap down, and here's our little pocket. All right, let's grab our stencils and create some decorative layers. I'm going to start with the 2 pieces that layer over the front of the pocket. We're going to create a festive shimmer design with the sparkle stencil and turquoise stencil butter. I'm going to gently spread this over the stencil with a silicone brush, using a light touch to make sure it doesn't seep underneath. You could also use modeling paste, glitter or solar paste, or a clear texture paste. If you're not a fan of mixed media, you could replicate this design with ink or embossing powders. All right, let's carefully pull up the stencil. Oops, it looks like my strip is stuck. Let me pop this off the stencil real quick. There we go. Now, isn't that design just gorgeous? I love how this looks. All right, I'm going to set the pieces aside to dry and clean up my space. Then I'll bring in another stencil for our card insert. For the inside, I'm going to use the Ho 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 stencil set to create a row of festive trees. I'm going to alternate between festive berries and lumberjack plaid inks to give this a traditional Christmas feel. The Ho 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 layered stencil collection includes a set of leaf designs designed to create a frame around the sentiment dies. There are 3 Ho 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 dies, and each letter O has a tree shape. This tree stencil has been designed to fill in that tree. As a creator, I love figuring out new ways to use my stencils, and these trees are such a versatile design with many possibilities. Let's add our band to hold the gift card. I'm keeping this simple, but you could add some stencil images to the paper strip or stamp a sentiment on the card. To adhere it in place, I'm adding some strips of tape on the shorter ends. Then I'll lay it about 1/4 inch above the base of the card. All right, let's bring in one more stencil and create our sentiment. I'm using the retro stripe stencil to create candy cane stripes. I'm going to secure this over the top of some mixed media cardstock and add a set of stripes with Festive Berries Distress Oxide ink. This stripe stencil is another versatile design. I've already used it multiple times on my projects this holiday season. You can use it to create simple stripes, diagonal designs, or even a plaid. The sentiment dies that I'm using are small, so I need to make these stripes a little bit closer to fill in my letters. I'm going to shift the stencil so that the second set of stripes sits between the first. These are going to be a little darker using lumberjack plaid. You could also bring in a green or pink stripe for a different look. Take a look at that lovely candy cane stripe. It's perfect for the holidays. I also want to bring some green trees to my projects, so I'm going to blend a little bit of clover over this area here. I'll be cutting this with dies, so it doesn't need to be a perfect shape, just large enough to cut out the trees. Here are the 2 dies that I spoke about. They come with the Ho 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 layered stencil collection. I'm going to use 2 of these to cut out the letters from my stripes. The dies will cut out the letter H, letter O, and a tree shape in the center of that letter O. Now I want the trees to be green, so I'm going to place these dies over the inked area here and cut out the pieces. Now all we need to do is grab all the pieces and assemble the card. The flap at the top is meant to fold over as a decoration, but I realized that I was using double-sided cardstock, so I trimmed mine off so that I could use the darker side. This lovely square sparkle is going to sit here, and then I'll bring in that flap piece. Like I said, yours is going to fold down over the top. Trimming it allowed me to bring in some foam tape and pop it up off the card. I'm going to adhere this decorative strip over the top and bring in some ribbon and add a bow. I'm going to adhere this bow in place with a little glue dot. You could add a charm or a tag to this bow if you like. The sentiments are going to sit here at the base of the card. I'm going to pop up the H with some foam tape. The O is going to adhere flat to the card so that I can pop up the little trees. Aren't these just too fun? They remind me of old-fashioned Christmas candy. I chose a simple stripe for my letters, but you could use the sparkle stencil or cut them from a pattern paper. You could also add some glitter over the top for a little sparkle. Here is our finished gift card holder. I made another version with non-traditional colors for a modern twist. I created a blue sparkle background with pink letters. These were shaded with a soft pink, then layered with a dark pink stripe over the top. You can customize these with your favorite stencils, papers, and embellishments. I want to thank you for joining me today. I hope this project inspired you to try something new. If you have any questions about the project or supplies I used, feel free to post that in the comments below. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I can't wait to see what you create.